This hair makes me look like one of the little rascals. So on this latest episode, I thought I'd finally get to the sound part of Owen Sound, and since it's halfway through the year, I thought what better way to do this than go through my favorite albums of the year so far. So we're gonna go right into 2016's best albums, going with a top 5. So I thought with this being my first music-based video, I would just quickly mention that my tastes tend to lean more towards rock, with electronic and R&B and hip-hop and rap tending to always fall into my favorites of the year, but never in my top stuff unless something really stellar comes out. So if you see me leaving off the latest Beyonce or Kanye album, besides other personal preferences, they usually tend to not be as high on my list for personal reasons. So coming in at number 5 is an album that's actually called Four. This is the new album from Black Mountain. They're a Vancouver-based band, and this album is very rock and kind of old metal inspired. Definitely Black Sabbath vibes on this record. For fans of that, you'll definitely find something here you'll love. Also very space rock themed here, with the album cover itself having an astronaut on it, and songs like Constellation, Mothers of the Sun, and Florian Saucer Attack being really kind of the standout tracks on the record, in my opinion, and really having a lot of the heft of the record and being the most space themed. Coming in at number 4 is actually a record from a genre that I very rarely actually delve into, and this is it's a new country record from an artist called Margo Price, and this is an album called Midwest Farmer's Daughter. Now, this record came out on Jack White's Third Man Records label, which I may credit to the fact of why I may have actually just given it a listen to in the first place, being a big Jack White fan. But I found this record to be very enjoyable. I found this to kind of dig into the older country sound that you don't always find as much now these days with a lot of the pop country taking over, and I actually do tend to like a lot of the old country stuff with like Nico Case's older work, and this really feeds a lot into that, definitely leaning a lot more on a very heavy country vibe to that, with songs like 4 Years of Chances being kind of a more poppier song, but definitely still having that sound to it, Hands of Time, and Weekender being really great standout tracks, and I really look forward to seeing what else Margo Price does in the future, hopefully staying with Third Man Records and seeing what production they can get out of that. Number 3 is Human Ceremony by Sunflower Bean. Now this record definitely came out of nowhere for me. I had kept hearing about Sunflower Bean for a while, but never finally listened to them. And when I heard this record, it really blew me away. The first track that really stood out to me was this track called Wall Watcher, which I may have listened to purely based off of my Game of Thrones obsession, but it was this very heavy rock track, a bit lighter than a Joy Formidable track maybe, that kind of pulled me in. And then they had these other tracks like Easier Said that had an almost always vibe to it, that really pulled me in, and I just overall love this band. They seem to have a lot of really complex yet simple writing where they just seem to really know what they're doing, especially on this really being one of their first full lengths. Number 2 is an album that I thought would actually be my number 1 record of the year. This is the new Kills album, Ash and Ice. Now, I thought this would be a little higher given my love for the Kills and that Alice Miles Hart is one of my personal heroes. But anyways, this new album came out, and it definitely is a Kills record, which being its kind of biggest strength and weakness. For a fan like me, the overall sound of the Kills that I've heard before works for me, but never really blows me away because they haven't really changed much with their sound, with a lot of tracks sounding like they're almost like extra songs from earlier Kills records, specifically leaning towards No Wow and Blood Pressures being their last record. But with this latest record, songs like Doing It to Death and Heart of the Dog are really great songs on the record. Bitter Fruit being the most Kills sounding song on the entire record, with some of the other tracks actually sounding like an evolution of their sound, even straying into pop with Doing It to Death's almost Justin Timberlake, Crimea River vibe. Definitely overall a great record for the Kills, but really would love to see them doing something a bit more kind of adventurous on their next record coming forward. Coming in at number 1 is a record that was actually nothing like I expected it to be. This is the new record from the Last Shadow Puppets called Everything You've Come to Expect. This is, of course, the project with Arctic Monkeys' Alex Turner and Miles Kane of Miles Kane. This is their latest record since their album The Age of Understatement, being the first record that they put out together. And this one definitely has a lot more evolution to it. This definitely carries over a lot of the latest AM vibe of the latest Arctic Monkeys record, and even a bit of the Mini Mansions vibes that kind of some of these side projects of Queens of the Stone Age have pulled in the past couple years, with Alex Turner actually lending his voice to the last Mini Mansions record. So going off of this one, there's tracks like Aviation being my personal favorite. Every time it comes on, it just kind of takes me away in a way that I'm not sure how to describe. And songs like Bad Habits really just having this great hook vibe to it. I haven't heard a bass line in a long time that really grabs me like that one does, and just the way it's recorded. And another track that really blows me away every time I hear it is the title track, Everything You've Come to Expect. Just this really ambient kind of harpsichord organ song that just kind of floats with these waves in the background going, feeding into the whole music video series that the band released for the album. So those are my top 5 albums of the year. I know I'm probably missing a couple albums that you guys thought were way better than the ones I picked, but these are just my opinion, and I'm sure I always miss a couple. There's about 100 records released a month, so I'm bound to miss a couple. But let me know what you like, and tell me in the comments what albums you thought were better than these ones, and let me know about the albums that I picked and what you thought.